Yo, what up guys? So in today's video, what I'm gonna do is show you how you can easily exploit a WordPress or basically any website using PHP language, payload. So all we do is need to get basically into editor. Now you're gonna say, well, I don't have an editor account, or I don't have an administrator account on a certain service or a website. That's okay, because all you need to do either is basically exploit into the website, or what you can do is check if the default credentials are exploitable like here. Or what you can do is use my tutorial from my past video and brute force into a editor account or any accounts, because Burp Suite is one of the best tools, and what it does basically, it will find the login and the password for you. So obviously I'm not going to run Burp Suite for admin, because that's just a waste of time. I actually hate brute forcing because I found that brute forcing sometimes it just takes too long. And especially if your computer's sort of not the best, it's going to take a long time, because remember that when you're brute forcing, what you're doing is spamming passwords and logins. So when you're spamming, obviously the computer resources are taken and they're used to hack, right? So remember that if you have a choice between exploiting and brute forcing, I would rather exploit than brute force, because brute forcing is basically watching the screen. Did you get credentials? No. Did you get credentials? No. I've told you in that last video that I tried to brute force SSH and I've been waiting 3 hours and it wasn't worth it. All right, so try and use exploits if you can. So let's use admin, and we're using the same virtual machine from my last video about ethical hacking course, which is basic pen testing 1. So let me just log in and I'll come back to you in a second. Oh, fuck. Right, so we're on basically the website. Now, as I told you in an editor website, as I said before, sorry. So all you do is click to appearance. Now, before I just go on to show you, now this is obviously a vulnerable WordPress version, or it's a very, very outdated version that is outdated and doesn't have the security that it's supposed to. Plus, it doesn't have a firewall. So obviously this might not work on every single website, but it's very, very good to know that you can run PHP exploits very, very easily if you have an editor access or you have an access to editor. So all you do goes to is appearance. Now I suggest using appearance because it's easier than plugins, right? So what I suggest, going to appearance, appearance and editor. I was right. Okay. So what you do now is we need to look for a certain, oh, sorry guys, you can't see that. There we go. So we're going to look for certain theme file or a certain website that we can launch. Now this is a PHP exploit, so you need to keep in part that there could be like CSS or something else, whatever file it could be. You need to remember that it's PHP exploit. It's not going to work for CSS, for example. As you can see, it's not going to work. You can try. Remember that other languages are also exploitable, so you might find an exploit for other language, right? For example, what you can do is get a Linux reverse shell payload that you can just write in your notepad, like me. And I'm going to show you where to get an exploit as well. Actually, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you this, how to get the payload, because it's very, very good. Very good website that I have found out. So all you do is you need to basically decide which website you want to do. Now you can basically, if you're basically not sure or where you can't find a certain website, what you can do is just paste the payloads at the top. So all you do is just go down and just paste the payload here. I'm going to show you. Just paste the payload and you need to click update. However, what I suggest is doing archives or comments, because this is obviously what we need to do is just request the payload, right? Which I'll show you in a second how to do. But all we need to do is just go down, Control C or Control V, whatever you have. Just copy at the top, right, into something that you can easily find on the website. So you need to just basically do some reconnaissance and find the certain function that you can request to request the payload. So the website processes, and when the website processes the payload, you can easily get a payload reverse shell, right? So as you can see, let's go to archives, because archives is the one I have found very easy to access. So as you can see, I have pasted the payload. And all you do is put the IP address of your attacker machine. Make sure it's not the victim issue, it's the attacker, because we're reversing the connection. Put the port. I suggest using 4444, 4 fours, right? And basically just update. Remember to update, because if you don't update it, it's not going to work. So after you've done this, you're basically done. Now the first thing you need to do, go to your terminal and run this command. What this does is netcat and allows us a listener, as you can see, listening on any 4444, which means we're listening for any reverse connections. So as soon as you basically can just minimize this, make sure you don't close this, because if you close this, it's not going to work. Minimize it, go to the website. Now it might take a second, so I'm going to come back in a second to you guys. Right, so we're back on the website. It took like 15 years to load, but it's okay. My energy bit is so high that I'm not going to be able to pay it. So let's go down, and as you can see, we have basically, you can use recent comments, you can put as a comment, you can put as a post, you can put archives, which I'm going to use, categories, basically anything that's, you can basically use the request, right? It could be many other options, but I'm giving you ideas that you can use. You can use some logout, sysadmin, whatever you want, right? It doesn't really matter. So we need to click archives. And as soon as you click archives, we go back to our terminal. And as you can see, we're logged in to our basically victim. And if you do who am I, it says www.data, which is obviously no Kali. And if you do cd Marlin Spike, right, pwd, as you can see, we're in whole Marlin Spike, which means we can get some file of this guys, or we can get some additional stuff. Now, what I want to show you, which is something I have found out, which is absolutely brilliant. We can upgrade our not Python, it's a Python script. Basically what we can do is upgrade the shell to fully interactive. So what we need to do is run this command, which I'll show you. So it's Python C. I sort of remember it because I run it so many times, I just basically remember it. We're using a bin bash script. Bin bash is used in Linux to scripting. And as you can see, we have basically, we're interacting as Marlin Spike now. So we basically just got a fully interactive shell. And yeah, but the thing is, every time you want to basically get this, you need to run this command again, which shouldn't be a problem, because after you run it like about 5 times in a row, you just remember it out of your head. And you're going to go to your class and you're just going to write this shell. I don't know, maybe you will. So basically what happens is, if I close this, what happens if I close this? Can I get the remote shell again? Of course you can. So all you need to do is the same command, right? Unless someone deletes, obviously if someone deletes the payload, PHP payload is over, right? You need to get the payload again. But the chance of someone being, you know, in front of their computer and basically knowing that you've to run this payload in a second, by the time they know that you're into their computer or in their root machine server, whatever you have, I don't know what you're hacking into. Obviously don't commit any crimes, please. I'm teaching you this for ethical purposes only. So this is how you basically get into a virtual machine. As you can see, I just ran this command again, or payload, whatever, and we're back into the virtual machine or the victim. So hope you enjoyed this content. If you can leave a like, subscribe to my channel, follow my Twitter, sign up to my newsletter. I'll be sending free emails, free PDFs, or free information, free emails, sorry, and much more. So make sure to check out my other videos. Make sure to check out my ethical hacking course, which I show you the same machine, but I'll show you another exploit, which is FTP, which is also exploitable. And hope you enjoyed this content, and I'll be posting maybe tomorrow or something. So see you later, guys.